Hello, my name is Joseph and I am the founder of Gentleman's Armor. Together, we'll explore the world of tradition, craftsmanship, and quality. In today's video, we are going to talk about pleated pants. What are pleated pants, the history of them, and why men stopped wearing pleated pants. Before we begin, please take a moment and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment and press the like button. It really gives us the strength to continue and explore the world of tradition, craftsmanship, and quality. I am sure we've all heard of pants with or without pleats, but how many know the difference between them? And what exactly are the pleats on the pants? In simple words, pleats are gathered folds of fabric where it is sewn into a garment to control its volume, giving the necessary shape and greater range of movement. Of course, it is not mandatory to see pleats only on trousers, as we have seen pleats many times on other types of garments as well, such as jackets, shirts, skirts. We can find the pleats either facing inwards, calling them forward pleats, or pleats facing outwards, calling them back-facing pleats. Historically, we can find samples that resemble pleated trousers from the beginning of the 19th century, but they became more widely known with the presence of the knickerbocker, which was essentially an alternative form of knee-length trousers of the era. We can find examples of these trousers from the 1860s, where they were used in more casual or sporting events. This was of course in a straight line, but we can liken it to pleated trousers and say that it was essentially their predecessor because we find features such as darts at the bottom so that they maintain the narrow line at the knee. Subsequently, this type of pant evolved and now extends beyond the knee height plus 4 inches, hence the name plus 4. Now, in addition to the inclusion of darts, we also find pleats in the waist for better movement. Of course, the characteristic that remained the same is that these pants continue to have the most casual and athletic look. But when Edward VIII wore a pair of such trousers on a trip to America in 1924, as you understand, pleated trousers began to be mass produced, and indeed long pleated trousers, as a result of which the gentlemen enjoyed them in their daily life. Moving on to the following decades, as we already know, the suits changed and they were widened mainly on the shoulders and chest, and to continue the harmonious outfit and also on the trousers, without of course looking excessive, pleats were used in the middle of the trousers, and so with this way they also gave volume to the legs. As the years went by, the popularity of pleated trousers became established, so gentlemen wore either the trousers alone with more casual attire or with a suit. Of course, in the late 60s and 70s, where the suit line generally became narrower, pleated trousers had largely lost their popularity. But after the 80s, when suits became wider again, they came back in foreground. As we have emphasized many times, the final result of a men's garment depends to a large extent on how good the tailor is. So also in the case of the pleat, the tailor plays a very important role. Since you may be wondering how this affects, I will give you some examples. On the flat front, the central crease disappears as we go up towards the waist, as a result of its gradual flattening with frequent use, and if we don't notice it in time, there is a risk of losing the driver. Otherwise, with a pleat in the middle, this guide is always visible and in the right place. Also because there is more and it's sewn in, it's harder to ruin the crease of the pants. You will tell me now how this involves with the tailor. First of all, the pleat needs a more detailed work and the tailor takes more time to cut and sew the fabric correctly to give the perfect result. Unfortunately, many tailors are more interested in profit and try to earn money from various parts of the suit tailoring progress, even from its fabric. There are also many customers who want to have the lowest possible cost, when it comes to create the suit. This results in pleated pants being worn less often, or in many cases not looking as good. Going back in time to the beginning, but also to the middle of 20th century and before the appearance of central heating in buildings, people had to wear warm clothes and mainly woolen fabric in order to keep warm. Over the years, as central heating slowly entered our lives, and synthetic fabrics also, things changed. Fabric became thinner, with the result that natural fabrics in particular wrinkle very easily and lose their harmonious structure. As far as the synthetic fabrics are concerned, although they did not have the easy creasing, it is very easy to destroy them. Thinking about this, we notice that one of the reasons why pants with pleats are no longer emphasized is precisely this. More specifically, natural fabrics with frequent use lose the shape given to them by the tailor, and we have an unsightly and foreign effect in terms of pleats. On the other hand, synthetic fabrics cannot under any circumstances follow the lines that the tailor wants to give, and for this reason they always look puffy at the point where the pleats are made, and this is probably why most men choose trousers with a flat front. You will allow me once again to travel back in time, as in my opinion, I consider irreplaceable the quality that people used in many things in their daily lives to a large extent. Of course, I am referring to the middle of the 20th century. Don't get me wrong, in many things the technology and the facilities that people have created are fantastic, but unfortunately we have misunderstood in some things what quality, proper appearance, and natural products mean. At that time, sports clothes and t-shirts had not yet entered our lives to such a large extent. So people of any social class had a beautiful set of clothing made of natural fabrics made especially for them to flatter their personality as well as their body for every occasion. Now, we can even see someone going to a job interview with a t-shirt, with a pair of jeans, or even simpler with a tracksuit. From ancient times until today, people try to copy some important person mainly in appearance. Unfortunately, nowadays, with the help of social media and television, important people have been replaced to some extent with famous people. Unfortunately, people following such figures have dropped their quality too much. I would say as a result of this, the fabrics that we can use to make pleated trousers are no longer used in everyday life by the general public. Following the timeline, I believe that the late 70s and beyond was the beginning of the readjustment of the average man's style, so that's when synthetic, ready-to-wear clothes such as sports shoes, sports clothes, and revealing t-shirts became more popular, especially among young people. This resulted in scorn and being addressed as nerds by those who wanted to keep the quality of previous years in their garments. Then, in the 1980s, the style had already changed, and young people very quickly willingly adapted to the new trends that simplified things too much. The appearance of discos as a way of having fun, but also the ease of wearing something casual and at the same time provocative and revealing gave life to this fashion which continues nowadays. That is why someone who seeks the quality that people had in the time before, all this is still considered backwards and nerd and is unwanted in their friends. To give a more optimistic point of view, I can say that there is a tendency nowadays to separate the office environment from the daily walk with friends. The characteristic of simple dressing, a pair of jeans with sports shoes and revealing t-shirts have somewhat been limited to everyday fun and going out with friends, while in the office the dress code of shirt and tie has returned. This has allowed people to start looking for quality in their lives to the extent that their finances allow them, because as we all know, lower demand, higher price. So, among the shoes that people wear at work, they often look for pants with pleats, for both aesthetic and practical reasons, i.e., to always have a guide when ironing the pants. Of course, with the beginning of the new millennium, the industrialization of suits has adapted their fashion to be very tight on the body, shorter in the leg, and have a low crotch. This results in the pleats not going into the pants and not being used in many cases. But those who choose to go to a traditional tailor and make a proper suit will have a traditional result adapted to the modern trends we live in today, so that we can easily distinguish pants with pleats.